Good morning, true crime friends. We are back here together again. Look, in honor of being back in the Low Country, I'm wearing my Super Mandy t-shirt. Remember, listen, longtime viewers of this channel, remember when I declared Mandy Matney a small town superhero for breaking wide open this whole Murdoch thing? So I was like, this morning, I'm going to wear my Super Mandy t-shirt. Also, what I slept in was indecent for me to be wearing out here on the YouTubes because I can't be having all my goodness and mercy out here in public. But look, we have a lot to get to today. But first, like this video, subscribe to the channel for more delightful gossip and so that we can have more gossip friends. Look, we are still back here in the Low Country. And so yesterday I was over there on Law Nerds watching Emily D. Baker go over the brief from Miss Becky about Miss Becky from Dick Harpootlian and Jim Griffin, right? So I'm like, okay, now I've seen other lawyers go over this. Hey, Peter Tragos, the lawyer you know, the lawyer I know. But then it sort of hits different when Emily D. Baker breaks it down, right? Because Emily, she put that juice on it. Hey, Emily. I don't even know her, but I am a big fangirl. But look, so she's reading through the whole thing, and she was reading excerpts from Miss Becky's book, which other people had not done. And I was like, oh, Miss Becky's book. Let me turn up my little earbuds. I was out on a nature walk. So I was out there in nature trying not to be murdered by bugs because, you know, I enjoy nature. I really, really do. I mostly enjoy it in pictures. Being out in it, no, thank you. That's not for me. I mean, but I walked through some nature and then hit a Starbucks. So it wasn't like super nature, but my life is nature adjacent. Anyway. So this is what struck me when I heard Emily, number one, reading from the book, and number two, reading like all of like the dirty... I was like, something fell. Okay, reading all the dirty details of this affidavit. So look, Miss Becky's book is very, it's very country mouse goes to the city, right? She's like, I'm a small town girl. The first time I ever rode on an airplane is when we went to New York after this verdict. I am shocked by that. Maybe that's just me. Maybe like, cause I've been on airplanes my whole life. Like the first time I was on an airplane, I was maybe in the first grade, maybe a kindergarten or something like that. And me and Becky are in the same age category. So I'm like, really? You know how like you always assume that other people's life is like your life. So I assumed her life was my life. 55, her first airplane visit. Okay. And then she talked about going to New York City and seeing all the tall buildings. And I was like, right. Because that's what New York City had. Like, it was weird to me. But also it struck me that I was like, maybe Miss Becky. Now listen. I am not blaming Miss Becky for nothing, not one thing, because I do not believe a word that's coming out of Dick and Jim's mouth. I just don't. They have no credibility with me, but I think that all of this should be revealed and it should get a fair hearing and all that other stuff. But also, having heard the excerpt from Miss Becky's book, I understand why the egg juror is mad. So look, Miss Becky, blinded by the bright lights in big city, was doing too much. She was just doing too much. And no shade to her. I might have been doing too much. I do too much every day on the internet. So like, okay, she's in the trial of the century. She's in like some little small town over there, down some dirt paths or whatever Dick and Jim called it or whatever. So I'm like, okay, she was excited or whatever. Do I think she did anything wrong? Well, to me, that has not been proven. But this is why I think the egg juror is mad. And honey, this is the gospel according to Kathy. I don't got no facts. I just have what I heard and what I read and what I have surmised and put all together. So look. If you go back to court TV in the Alec Murdoch trial, you can rewatch the whole thing. I don't recommend it, but the video that you want to see, wait, I wrote the number down. Video number 128. It's 13 minutes long and it covers the entirety of what happened in when the egg juror gets dismissed. So this morning, as I was making my coffee, because you know I am nothing without coffee, I was over there watching video number 128. So it's like, okay, we were all there. You know what happened, right? So somebody reported something and then they had a hearing and the lawyers got together, blah, 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 whatever. One of the things that Judge Clifton Newman, His Royal Highness, can we call him His Royal Highness? I guess he's Your Honor, but I just really, really love him. Anyway, and for the record, once he is off the bench, I believe he will become one of our lower deities. Now listen, you know we say plenty of prayers on this channel. We are a very prayerful channel, but we do not blaspheme. Jesus is busy. There is still a war in Ukraine. There's people have dread diseases and stuff. We are not trying to bother actual Jesus. And so we send our prayers to other deities, Beyonce, Betty White, Liza Minnelli, etc. I think that we should add Judge Clifton Newman to that list, but only after he's no longer a government employee. Because I'm not praying to no government employees. I'm just not going to do it. But anyway, so His Honor, Judge Clifton Newman, is over there in all his dignity and grace in his big old blue chair, and he presides over the proceedings with dignity and class, right? So he invites the lady out, and he's like, blah, 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 this is what happened. There's some evidence that you've been talking to other people. Now, I suspect the other people that were spoken to were her tenants. On a Saturday during the trial, somebody was getting a washer and dryer delivered. And she was there and she was running her mouth about the trial. Afterwards, I seem to recall people saying she was talking to like some coworkers or something like that. But maybe there was some confusion. I believe it was these tenants. And then the tenants went on the record and said, okay, she did whatever. And they made an affidavit. Here's the thing. When SLED or whoever went to these tenants' house, they made an affidavit, they wrote it, and they signed it. But then when they came to court and spoke to the judge and them about it, they changed, they waffled. What they said in the affidavit was different than what they said when they were in live court. That makes me wonder, if all of this Miss Becky situation gets a hearing, we read what was all written in the affidavit. Will that affidavit match what these people say in live court? Because it's one thing to sit in a private room with just you and one other person and be like, and he said this and he said that, and then let me tell you what else will happen. But to be sitting there with the eyes of the world upon you, like, let me see, I might, some retractions might take place, and all of this might be a nothing burger. But one of the things that Judge Clifton Newman said, you could tell I did a deep investigation. One of the things that Clifton Newman said is, since you are a juror, your identity will be protected. We're not going to put cameras on you. You don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, blah, blah, blah. Then he gave her 12 eggs and sent her on her merry way. He also said, she has some question that's inaudible on the tape, but then he said, no, I know about the situation with your ex-husband. This is not about your ex-husband. This has nothing to do with him. This is an entirely separate matter. And I was like, oh. So it is already on the record. And then, of course, old Poot Poot stood up and he was like, Your Honor, I would like to say that SLED is shady and they have bad judgment. And Your Honor was like, okay, girl, sit down. That's not what he said. That's my interpretation of what he said. But basically what he said was like, okay, girl. So, okay, fine. Miss Becky wrote her book and she gave identifying information about the egg juror. Now, did she say the lady's name? No. The thing is, the egg juror has an unusual job, and that is that she works at a monkey farm. What? There are monkey farms in South Carolina? South Carolina, what y'all doing? I knew you had sweet tea and some rice. Monkey farms? Monkey farm. Okay, so apparently it's some sort of testing facility and she babysits the monkeys, changes their diapers. I don't know what she does with the monkeys. Provides them bananas. I know they giving the monkeys diseases and then trying to heal them and whatever. I don't know all the details. But if I was this juror, right? Miss Becky, who's over here doing the most, and I'm supposed to be, listen, this trial is over months ago. I'm sitting in my house. I'm minding my business. I'm saying key to the little monkeys or whatever. And I'm like, oh, this heifer done wrote a book. I'm not going to read her book because I'm mad. And then people are like, girl, have you read Miss Becky's book? She identifies you. Because how many people in town know somebody who works at a monkey farm? And I know this egg juror was like, I know this bisque does not have my name in her mouth. Oh, blah, 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 blah. She identifies my job in her book, for profit. Hello, Dick and Jim. Let me tell you what else she did. Now, whether what else she did was improper or not improper, I do not know. But the egg juror was like, So as far as I'm concerned, all of this might just be some get back. Now listen, I don't know this woman's motives. All of it's going to be revealed, but I'm like, oh, this is starting to come together for me. And then Dick and Jim and them was like, and we spoke to other jurors independently, and they said some of the same things. And I'm like, right. He's like, without them talking to each other, the jurors were all talking to each other long after the case. They probably still are. And here's why we know this. That is because Dick and Jim, in their motion, say that the jurors are on a group chat. Y'all know how annoying group chats are. Oh, I love my group chat, but they can be super annoying. You're like, oh, dang, how did I miss 75 messages and I was only away from my phone for 3 minutes? All these people are chatting. So maybe somebody knocked on one of their doors and was like, knock, knock, knock. We'd like to talk to you about the trial. You know, they was immediately like, yo, they knocking on my door talking to me about the trial. This is what I said, blah, 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 blah. So he's like, independently from each other, these jurors have said da-da-da-da-da-da, not independently from each other, because you know how group chat is. You could talk all day, every day. You could talk not at all, or you could just sit there and read and be nosy and see what's going on in everybody else's life. So as far as I'm concerned, Dick and Jim, I don't know that your little motion is going to go very far. I think it will be investigated. I think it might even get a hearing. But if what's written in the affidavit is sustained by what people say in court, now listen, Dick and Jim have given themselves an out. They're like, we believe the da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Right. Let these jurors come to court and say it. Let them say it with the eyes of the nation upon them. Will their identity be protected? So let me get this straight. You go on and do your 6 weeks of jury duty. And I love jury duty, but 6 weeks would be too long for me. I'd be like, look, I got a life. They ain't got nothing to do with all of this. So you go do your 6 weeks of jury duty and you trying to get back to your life. And now these Mama Lukes come knocking on your door. No, thank you. No, thank you. So this is going to continue to play itself out. It looks like now we live in South Carolina. Not actually, though, because I heard they have black flies down there that bite. No, that's going to be a no for me, dog. I can't. Ooh. People are like, oh, the great outdoors. No, thank you. No, thank you. Look, in other news, because you know there is always other news. Shirley Strawberry. We need to talk about Miss Shirley Strawberry. Now, I'm hearing that some of y'all have no idea who Shirley Strawberry are. Well, let me break it down for you so it can forever be broke down. You know Steve Harvey, right? Family Feud, Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey Morning Show has been around for years and years and years and years, right? I remember when it first came to New York, but it was on the radio in LA and other places for a long time. Steve Harvey, I don't know if he still is because I don't listen to terrestrial radio at all, like ever. I didn't even realize the radio in my car worked until I forgot my phone one day. And I was like, what are these buttons? Oh, it's a radio in here. Had no clue because I listen to my podcast when I'm in the car. But the Steve Harvey Morning Show has been huge, massive in the Black community for many decades at this point. Steve Harvey has a sidekick who is Shirley Strawberry. Now look. Steve brings the ha-ha and the funny, and his sidekick, Shirley Strawberry, gives like sane, sensible commentary that basically consists of her going, come on, Steve. All right, Steve, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, comedian, straight man, fine. They're very like Howard Stern, Robin Quivers, same exact dynamic. Only there's a whole bunch of other people on the Steve Harvey Morning Show. One of them is nephew Tommy. There's Carla. There's a whole bunch of people. The main people in this story are Steve Harvey and Shirley Strawberry. Steve is married to Marjorie Harvey, his like 75th wife or something. He's had a whole bunch of wives. How you out here giving all this relationship advice and talking about the Lord and whatever, and you on your 75th wife? Okay. And word on the street is that you cheated on all of them before you got to Marjorie, but okay, fine. Shirley Strawberry had been single for a great number of years. Her last name is Strawberry, but she was married to Darryl Strawberry, who is some sort of sports player. Child, you know I don't know nothing about that sports ball. Darryl Strawberry's like brother. So Shirley, whatever her original last name was, became Shirley Strawberry. That became her trademark, and they do the Strawberry letter, where somebody writes in and it's like, dear Steve, my husband is in prison. Should I divorce him? And then Shirley is like, you should stand by your man and give sensible advice. And then Steve brings the ha-ha and the funny. That's the way it works, right? Shirley Strawberry, a few years ago, 2015, I'm not here to do math, got married to Ernesto. After many years of being single, she finally settled down and married this dude who everybody was like, good for her. And oh, they Instagram cute. He's an entrepreneur. He has a business. Everything is wonderful. Shirley has been in entertainment for 40 years. Keep that in your back pocket, because if I worked at a job for 40 years, I would think I would have amassed me a little something, some savings, some retirement planning. Shirley is like 68, 69. Shirley is no spring chicken, right? She getting up there, and Shirley has a daughter and some grandkids, whatever. So look, Shirley meets this dude and she gets married, and she's like, we are so cute on Instagram. Don't we have the perfect life? This is us in our little mansion. All things are wonderful and great. And Steve Harvey is like, look, I'm over here making my giant bags of money, and Marjorie is running my life. She don't let me do nothing, but that is fine. I'm good with it. And so and we all gonna do what Marjorie says. He's a little bit whipped, and good for him. If that's what works for your marriage, then let that work for your marriage. So recently, about a year ago, Shirley Strawberry's husband gets locked up for fraud. And everybody was like, honey, pearls were clutched. Because we was like, well, wait, wasn't they just on Instagram yesterday talking about the love of their lives and how everything is wonderful and perfect and whatever. Okay. So Ernest is locked up, but it was kept on the low, right? Those regular people, those of us in the Black community, we ain't know nothing about it. Then people start coming forward like, oh, he been scamming for years. He been cheating for years. Now, when Ernest was young, he went to prison for doing some kind of, I don't know what, fraud adjacent kind of activities. Okay. And so now Shirley is out here like, Shirley said nothing about it for a very long time. Well, you know the streets was talking, because the streets is always talking. I should just tiptoe over to Black Twitter and see what they have to say about this, because Black Twitter, like the Black community, is here right in front of you, hidden in plain sight, but we not hidden because we out here in the streets. But Black Twitter is like a whole other thing, and they have things to say. They have thoughts and ideas, and they are not afraid to express it. And I am living for Black Twitter. Oh, I love Black Twitter. So anyway, people over on Reddit, Black Twitter, whatever, are just like, everybody been known he's a schemer. He's this, he's that, he's blah, blah, blah. Mr. Ernesto, his name is Ernest Williams, but he goes by Ernesto. I do not know why. He's a regular Black man. He is not Hispanic. Why the O? Got no clue. Anyway, people are like, oh, he stole my money. That's probably where the O came from. So he had a business partner who moved in next door to Shirley. She was like, oh, okay, hey, boo, there's your business partner. How you doing? So he can he can work from home. He can walk back and forth. This is perfect. The business partner gets arrested for fraud because she got a record. And Ernesto was like, I had a record when I was young, but not now. Boo-boo, I can do math. You was like still doing crimes when you was in your 40s. That's not that young. Now you in your 60s and you still doing crime. How he even get a date with Shirley Strawberry? This brother was a gold digger, plain and simple. He was with some other radio entertainment person trying to get his come up. And then as soon as he met Shirley, he dropped that other entertainer and started going hard for Shirley. So Ernesto is locked up. A bunch of us are none the wiser. Everybody is minding their business. And then there's a Zoom hearing. Well, now that everybody knows how to use Zoom, we all on Zoom listening and watching to everything. And some eagle-eyed gossip, not a personal friend of mine, but certainly a personal hero, was like, wait. Is that Ernesto Williams? Shirley's husband? And so, like wildfire, his Zoom hearings started getting aired. He's trying to get bail. People are like, let me go through these court records. All of a sudden, everybody's down in Georgia in the court records. And now, Miss phone call. Oh, what's the name of the channel? I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. Phone calls from prison phone calls. I'ma tag her in the comments or something, because this sister, she is out here doing the Lord's work. She's getting FOIA requests, and she has gotten all of Ernesto's phone calls, and I have been listening to them breathlessly. So now I'm all up on Shirley's business, and I am loving it. So in the beginning, and you can see the progression as things went along. The word was not out there, right? And I was like, I didn't know Shirley was locked up. And then you can see, like, they having conversations back and forth. Okay, baby, I believe you. This is all mess. That people are saying bad things about you. I know it's not true. Da da da. He's like, yeah. He sound like an old school pimp player. Everybody who knows. You got that one uncle who stays suited and booted and hugged up with some woman who is likely not his wife, and he always running a hustle. I'm not saying all uncles. I'm saying everybody got that one uncle, regardless of your Black background. If you're Black, if you're Hispanic, if you're Asian, if you're whatever you are, you got that one uncle. I got that one uncle, maybe more than one. Anyway, on my father's side, because I know some cousins on my mother's side know about this channel. I'm talking about my father's side, so calm down. Don't be scrolling through the family tree looking real hard at folks. But anyway, it's a whole bunch of them on my daddy's side, though. My daddy might have been one of them. Anyway, so Ernesto is like, I looked at him and I was like, I recognize you. You look about like four of my father's friends, but okay. So he's on these phone calls sounding just like the ain't-ish dude that he is. And he's just like, yeah, baby, what? They did what? Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Oh, they just making up charges. They're going to have to publicly apologize. I'm not worried about it. And so they were like, she's on one of the calls, she's like, Ernesto, they came and they took this out of the house. They took that out of the house. Then she's like, I was at the beauty shop. They took my car. And I was like, oh, damn. They publicly they rolled up on you in public. They left you out here with a bus pass that took your car. Then she's like, now I'm talking about they're going to come and get my ring. He's like, you know what, baby? If they come for your ring, you just go on and give it to them and let it go. They going to have to get it back. We can build again. Sir, what? And then in last night's jail phone calls that I listened to, because I have listened to every single jail phone call I could get my ears on. He was like, yeah, I think you should just let it all go and we can build again and start over. What? At the time of this phone call, which was November 2022, Miss Shirley had lost her home. She had lost her vehicle. Her money was running low, and she had to tell Steve, she was about to lose her wedding ring. She had recently told Steve what was going on, and Steve was letting her know she could lose her job over this. How much are you willing to give up over some dude? Girl, you got a 40-year career over that, Mama Luke? What? Miss Shirley, girl, I'm gonna need you to wise all the way up. She is 69. She too old to be building again. Shirley was like, apparently this was a message over text, but she was telling her husband Ernesto about it. And she was like, yeah, I had to tell Steve what happened, and he let me know. I was talking to the people, and he let me know that there's like a morals clause in my contract. And so, we just gonna wait and see what happens. But she's like, she sounds so naive. I was like, oh, Shirley, girl, you need to drop this dude. And he was like, but you didn't do anything wrong. I'm willing to let you go so you could be free. AKA, he like, the money about to run out. I'm gonna have to get me a new hustle. I'm sure it's a new sugar mama out here. Yeah, she left broken down and broke, sleeping on somebody's couch, quite literally homeless. And she was like, I don't have anything. My house in LA is gone. My house in Atlanta, the car, this, and that. You are 69. And over a little piece of a man, you have lost everything. Girl, you look crazy. I pray to all the deities, every single one of them, she gonna need actual Jesus. Let us be abundantly clear. Actual Jesus, I know you done put the fires out in Maui, and for that we are grateful, but Shirley needs you. She needs you right now. Right now. Jesus on the main line, girl. Tell him what you want. Because I was like, So, you in trouble, girl. Shirley, you in trouble. And if that were not enough, you in these phone calls, you hear Ernest hang up the phone with Shirley and immediately pick up the phone with the side chick. The phone calls with Shirley sound like, okay, baby, all right, blah, blah, blah. He does not show an amazing amount of interest. This side chick, they got something special. Oh, they got something real special. They go in deep. And he talks. It's all this sexting over the jail phone calls. He like, I ain't got nothing but time. Tell me whatever. And they just talk, and they are intimate and friendly and whatever. And it's very clear, very, very clear from these phone calls that he has a very intimate relationship with this woman named Sonia down in Florida. Now, I would not normally put a side chick's name out there like that, but the jail phone call lady got her name out here, and she out here on these jail phone calls. He talking about, yeah, you keep that muffin right for me. I hope he means a brand muffin. Something tells me no, because he was like, when it gets hot, you just pat it. I'm going to be there in a minute. I'm going to be all up in it. Sir, you nasty. You know these phone calls are recorded, and you out here looking crazy and got Miss Shirley looking twice as crazy as you. Listen, Shirley, girl, you might need the phone number of an exterminator. I'm gonna encourage you to download WhatsApp and go on talk to an exterminator, because I would be heated. 69, and I have lost everything. The only way to salvage this situation is to dump this man immediately, write a cautionary tale book about it, come out with a movie so maybe you can recoup some of your money. Because, girl, you about to be out here living in a van down by the river. What? After a 40-year career? I wish I would. Look, I need to get myself together. I got to go. I have run my mouth for too long, but this Shirley Strawberry story, child, I am living for every detail. My heart is broken for her. But let me tell you something. If I got to be 69 and this happened to me, I would have a new home in prison. Although I would like to think I am smarter than that, and I would get away with giving him some sweet tea sweetened with antifreeze or whatever, fentanyl. You know, he was a drug addict. He used to be in prison. Maybe that's where he got hooked. I don't know. Child, I would cry real tears and everything. Ooh, I would be up at the funeral looking fly. I would have on a tight bodycon dress that was black and a big hat and a veil and dark sunglasses, and I would dab a little triangle right here in the teeth so I didn't run my makeup. I would be laughing on the inside. I'm just letting you know, I am not one to be. The sisters gonna roll on this dude. I'm telling you right now. These sisters, the TTs, they gonna mount up. Ernest, you about to be in trouble. If you have harmed icon Shirley Strawberry, So look, this episode of Madness is dedicated to our faithful true crime BFFs, Sharon, child, you know I ain't got my glasses on this early. Sharon, Ken Sharp, and Marlene Rodriguez. Thank you. So, who are my very first members? I am doing member shout outs for those of us who have joined us over the True Crime BFF Circle. Thank you, ladies, for being members of this madness that I call a YouTube channel. There will be a bingo link if you want to play bingo based on this or any other gossip, rumor, and innuendo episode. There will be a pinned comment that has the link to play bingo. And if you win at bingo, let me know. I'll send you a little prize. Listen, y'all have a great day, and watch out for no good ninjas out there. I'll see you soon. Bye.